All right, so you finished up your workout, you did your pre-workout with rolling, you did your dynamic workout, you did your workout. Now it's time to stretch. As I mentioned earlier on the myofascial release video, if you watch that one, you could do some foam rolling as your stretch afterwards. That's a great way to recover. But sometimes it's nice to actually stretch. So we're going to do that. So the first one I'm going to show you is for your hamstrings. And so that's the back of your leg. So there's a few ways that you can stretch your hamstrings. One is to use a stretching strap or a towel or a jump rope or a dog leash, something like that. Hook your foot and we'll stretch the right leg first. So I am going to keep a little bit of a bend in my knee as I start to gently pull my leg towards my body. Now, if I have any sort of a strain, so sometimes that where the hamstring connects to your glute, a lot of people can get overstretched and strain that spot, that connection point. That's a very common thing that's happening. And so in that case, absolutely be careful. Don't really stretch to a completely straight leg. I would keep a bend in the knee. The idea is to feel the belly of the muscle here. Now, right now I'm pulling my toes back towards my shin. I'm going to check that out, see how that feels. I might feel some in my calf as well when I do this. But I might also see if it feels better in my body to point the toe away. And how does that feel in my hamstring? That might actually serve me better. So give that a try. Or you might do some flexing and pointing of the toe. I like to do that, make it a little bit more, as I call, dynamic. So that's with movement. All right, so I'm going to stick with this right leg and stretch my inner thigh now. So I take my leg out to the side. I'm keeping both hip bones on the ground. So again, this is just one way you can stretch your inner thigh. And then when I'm done with both sides here, I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can, other ways you can stretch your hamstring and your inner thigh. So my leg is coming out to the side. Again, I'm keeping a little softness in this knee, not letting my body roll over. That means I'm not going to be feeling the stretch if I do that. So my inner groin area is stretching here. So here's the thing about stretching. Now, what I'm doing right now is kind of calming the body down. The nervous system is relaxing. I'm telling my body I'm done. So this is something you definitely do after the workout. So it's telling my body I'm down regulating. I'm relaxing the tissues and getting ready to be finished with the workout. So dynamic warm-up is stretching with movement, different kind of stretching. This is just isometric stretching. And again, it's something you do after. Go ahead and switch to the other hamstring. So the thing about stretching is what I'm doing right now, where I'm holding, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. And we're going to start maybe with a flex toe again and a little bit of a bend in the knee. I'm doing, as I mentioned before, sort of down regulating, calming things down. I'm not, in this short amount of time, going to change the length of the tissue that I'm stretching. So you're not wasting your time. You're absolutely doing beneficial work for your nervous system and the muscles, getting them sort of calmed down. But if you want to see change in the length of the tissue, like you actually know my hamstrings are so tight and I need to actually somehow lengthen them out, you got to stay longer, like 3 to 5 minutes, so that you're actually affecting the connective tissue when you do that. And so I like the combination of rolling and stretching to get the length of the tissue to change. So again, you're not wasting your time doing these shorter stretches. Go ahead and point your toe. Let's try that. You're absolutely doing some amazing benefits, but you're not going to be doing a lot in terms of changing the length of the tissue. I didn't mention on the other side, but you could also let that bottom leg come out straight if that felt better in your body or that you liked that better. And so if you wanted to stay for 3 to 5 minutes on this stretch, you certainly could. But it's, again, if you're just wanting to sort of down regulate, calm the body down, tell your system that you're done with your workout, relax the tissue, then 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute, that is fine. You could separately choose to do what we call in yoga yin stretches, the long hold stretches, to see change happen. But be very, very careful, and this is one of those things that can get very confusing. But sometimes tissues stay tight no matter how much you stretch them because you've overstretched them. So they're just trying to protect you. They're like, please, 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 you've already overstretched me, maybe stretched, like even strained something or, pulled something. And now the body locks down in protection mode. So what you should be doing is strengthening rather than doing stretching, 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 stretching. I know that seems super confusing and like, why, if it's tight, why wouldn't stretching be the answer? Sometimes you actually can make things worse. So I say check in. So if you do a stretch and then immediately things in that area get tighter instead of looser, maybe back off on the depth of the stretch, the length of the time you're holding the stretch, or maybe that's not an area you should be stretching regularly anyway. I recommend trying foam rolling instead if that happens. Okay. All right. So again, that was one way you can stretch your hamstrings and your inner thighs. Here's another way. So you can sit on a chair, extend that bottom leg out, and then I'm hinging forward. Option, again, toes flexed back. Now you'll notice I'm not rounding my spine. I'm not even trying to reach my toe. In fact, don't even worry. I say leave your hands on your hips to remind yourself to keep the shoulders pulled back, the chest lifting a long spine. As soon as you do this, it's a back stretch. We're not trying to stretch the back right now. All right, and then you can point your toe away and maybe you're able to go a little bit deeper. Again, notice I am not rounding over on this and keeping a longish spine. And then let's do the other side. So again, toes can be flexed back. Might feel a little hamstring and a little calf on this. And then you can try with the toe pointed away. I like to show this one sitting on a chair because this is something that you can do at work. You don't even need to have a stretching strap. You don't need to get on the floor. It's something that most of us can just stick your leg out, make sure your chair isn't going to roll away if it's a rolling chair, and do your stretch. Okay, so the hamstrings are tight. It can pull on the low back, which can cause you low back issues. All right, so one more way you can stretch your inner thigh, coming onto the hands and knees, and one leg goes out. Now you can from here just kind of sit it back. You can turn this into a dynamic stretch, coming in and out of it slowly, and then eventually maybe you just stay. This is actually one of my favorites. So if you're able to kneel down, I really, really like this one. Inner thigh, really stretching here. And taking some deep breaths, of course, will help things relax. Let's go ahead and do the other side. And again, this is post-workout stretching. Now, if I wanted to do a pre-workout stretch for my inner thigh, I would make it dynamic only, which is what I'm doing right now. So that is with movement. So that would be fine. But as soon as I start to do some holding, isometric stretch, hold, I'm down regulating. I'm telling my body I am done. I'm not going to be jumping up and down. I'm not going to be running off now. I'm going for a run. I'm down regulating and I'm getting ready to be done with the workout. And this is an important part of your workout. Don't leave it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and relax now. So we have a couple of ways we can stretch your hips. Oh my gosh, we have so many ways that we can stretch your hips. So I'm just gonna show you two. So one is to do, and if you had a wall, you could use a wall, which is kind of nice. I'll pretend this is a wall. You could do a figure 4 stretch for your glute. So I'm stretching my right glute right now. So you know you're too close. Let's say I was really tight and I was here, my rear end's off the ground, I'm too close. If I'm back here and I'm not feeling anything, I'm too far away. So I find that happy medium. I might even press away just a little bit with my hand. Still kind of relaxing the shoulder. I don't want to cause tension in other areas. Taking some deep breaths. So if for some reason this doesn't feel okay in your body, or any of these don't, if they're causing pinching or sharp pain, then probably isn't for you, or you need to adjust somehow. Maybe the foot is higher, the foot is lower on your thigh. Of course, we'll do the other side. So in terms of stretching after a full body workout, hamstrings are usually important, inner thighs, hips, and eventually I'll show you quadriceps. So this one is another one that you could use a chair for. And again, I like to show the chair version because this means you could do this at work, ankle over thigh. Notice I'm keeping a long spine. I'm not slouching over my leg. I'm not turning it into a back stretch. This is actually a glute stretch, which if my glutes are tight, can affect the back. Very oftentimes we have back pain, not because there's an issue with the back, but because there's actually issues with the tissue that connects to the back. So I usually start people when they tell me they have back problems, I usually start not even with the back. We don't even talk about the back. We don't even stretch the back. We don't even address the back right away with the stretching. Oftentimes, that's not what the problem area is. It's just a result. And sometimes we'll get to stretching the back also. It depends on whether or not these other things take care of the problem. So when I say back, I'm referring to the lumbar spine, the low back. But of course, it's all connected. So even if you have middle back tension and tightness, all of these will also help. All right, so quadriceps, front of the thighs. So there's so many ways we can do all of these stretches. So one of the most basic ways, most people know this one, is to stand somewhere, grab your foot, maybe hold on to something, and you don't want your knee to come way out to the side. You do it, bring your knees a little bit closer, then do a little tuck under. So I'm not coming into big extension here. I'm tucking under, and I'm feeling my quadriceps stretching right in the middle of my quad, not my knee. Other option is to take the opposite hand. Sometimes that feels better. Some people's knees like that. Oftentimes women, with the shape of their hips, this stretch feels better. But you check it out. That's not always the case. And then let's do the other side, of course. And maybe I'll do that crossover on this one too. A little tuck under. And the reason I do that is so I don't turn it into a back stretch. It is a quadricep stretch. So I'm going to show you two other ways you can stretch your quadriceps. So I'm not going to stay very long in each of them. So if you need more time, you can pause the video and go ahead and take as much time as you need. So one is make sure you have plenty of cushion for your knee for this. I'm going to fold up my yoga mat and I'm going to place my knee on that cushion part and I'll put my toe up on a chair or a bench or whatever it might be. And then I come here, again, a little bit of a tuck under. So this can be pretty intense. So maybe you put your foot on something lower than this chair. So it could be, you know, a half foam roller, one of the shorter foam rollers, or a couple of books. And again, not going to stay super long time because I want to make sure I show you a couple of other options. So here we go with that other side. I'm doing a little bit of a tuck under. So it's here, not here. Front of my thigh. Kneeling does not work for everybody. So That's why I like to show options. Okay, so I'm going to bring this guy back out. So the last one I'm going to show you is going to be to lay down on your side. You actually take a hold of the bottom leg and stretch this way. So my front leg is forward. I might place a block or something underneath there if for some reason my back is feeling too twisty. And then of course, the other side. And again, pause the video if you need more time. All right, so that was our lower body, mostly the legs. And of course, I am going to show a couple for the low back as well. But remember, don't go straight to those. Oftentimes, low back tension is actually coming from other areas. So we're going to go ahead and stretch the lats and the chest now. So one of the ways that you can stretch your lats is to take the back of a chair or something like this, countertop, just kind of lean in. Now, it can be done with one arm. Careful the chair doesn't tip over. Sometimes one arm, I feel this more with one arm. Now, careful you don't dump into your shoulder. I'm kind of pulling away a little bit without taking the chair over. And then I might look underneath my armpits. I might twist away. And I can do both sides. Again, some people feel this more when they do it with one arm. Some people feel it more when they do it with two arms at the same time. You can kind of lean in and twist just a little bit. Listen to your shoulders. Wider might be better for you, so just honor that. All right, so chest stretch. 90-ish degree angle on that arm. I'm going to take it to a pillar or a wall, a door jamb. So it's my left arm up here. I'm going to step my left foot forward. I'm going to lean a little forward first. And then I'm going to just turn to my right a little bit. The idea is to feel chest and shoulder, these areas, not my shoulder blade back there, not my neck. So if I do feel any of those areas, I might adjust the angle of the bend of my elbow. It might be higher, it might be lower. Nothing pinching in the shoulder. And again, I'm just going to turn away to the right just a little bit with my left arm up there. And at the same time, some people actually feel this more with a straight arm. So maybe play with both. My palm is on there. And when I say straight, my elbow is not locked. I have a little bend. And let's turn it around and do the other side. So I'm going to step my right foot forward. I'm going to slightly turn to the left. Play with the straighter arm, see how that feels. There is another way you can stretch your lats. You can actually put your tricep elbow on the wall and then lean in, and you get lats and triceps at the same time. So this becomes a lat and a tricep stretch. If you didn't have a wall, you can just grab your own elbow and then lean away from it, and then you're doing lats and triceps at the same time also. And then of course you'll do the other side, whether it be on the wall or away from the wall. Okay, and then let's get the calves a little bit. So I'm going to use the wall here in two ways. You can either take the wall, lean in, and I'm stretching this back calf. I'm pressing my heel towards the ground. I might bend my knee a little bit and get the soleus, which is the lower part of the calf, and the Achilles kind of tendon area. That's one way to stretch your calves. Another way is to actually put the foot on the wall. Move this guy out of your way. and lean in. Works really well with a pillar that I can pull myself towards, but even if it was a wall, I just kind of pull my body in. Option to bend that knee. That gets more of the Achilles tendon and soleus area again. Let's do the other side. Move this guy. And heel presses back. This is one option. Some people love this one. And again, option also to bend that knee. It's good to get both the gastroc, which is the bigger part of your calf muscle, and then the lower, smaller part, the soleus, is down lower. With that bent knee, you'll get the lower part. And then the other option, come on up here, close to the wall or the pillar that I have right here, and do that. Okay. And some people's favorite is to do downward facing dog, and that is actually a great way to stretch the hamstrings and your calves. So keep that one in mind, and you don't have to have straight legs when you do that one. Legs can be a little bent. All right. So lower back. If you have something acute going on right now, you just pulled your back, I don't recommend you stretch it. I recommend you rest it and you ice it. So keep that in mind. If you just injured it, just let that lower back be. Maybe doing some of these other stretches around the area. Hips, hamstrings, quads will give you some relief. If your lower back is fine, it's just a little tense, then you can do some of these stretches. Please do not be aggressive about stretching your lower back. The lumbar is supposed to be the stablest part of your back. So cranking into twists can be actually detrimental and create instability, and then that creates problems. So a sitting up version of a stretch for your lower back. We'll sit up. Hands come down, just give myself some support. I could cross my right foot completely over, or it might come to the side of my leg. Okay, so either here or here. My right hand comes behind me. I'm gonna lift my left arm up. I'm gonna take a breath in. I'm going to exhale and twist to the right. So I'm gonna find out what my natural range of motion is, and then I can hook here if I'd like. Now, once I make that decision, I'm kind of judging how far my back naturally goes. I'm not going to go much past that. So I'm not going to crank into this. So you'll take another breath in. I might come out of it a little bit. My spine might lengthen. And then as I exhale, all I'm thinking about is right ribs moving back and left ribs moving forward. Notice I didn't say my low back. And I'm thinking of rotating from here, and I'm not worrying about keeping length. In fact, if you try to keep length, you might actually pull on the low back. My spine naturally shrinks a little with an exhale, and it's supposed to, and it's fine. And then as I inhale, I might come back out of it a little bit, and again, exhale. And I might move a little deeper. And of course, there's so many options on what you can do with the legs. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. I could have both legs bent. But think about the rib cage is where you're rotating from, the middle back. Let's do the other side. So left leg bends, maybe it crosses, left hand behind you. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Exhale, rotate to the left. Find out what your natural range of motion is. Then hook, hand, elbow, whatever. Take another breath in. Come out of it a little bit. Spine can lengthen. Exhale. Left ribs back, right ribs forward. And remember, you have all kinds of options what you'd like to do with your legs. Does not matter. Whatever seems to serve you is great. Think about moving from your middle back, not the sacrum, not the lowest part of your back, not your lumbar spine. And again, take your time, do what you need with that one. I'm going to show you one more for the low back. I'm going to place a support between my thighs. It could be a roller, it could be a block, it doesn't matter. I happen to have a roller here, so that's what I'm using. So my knees are up at 90 degrees. I'm laying down on my right side. My right arm reaches out. I'm going to take my left hand to my right, slide past my fingertips, and I'm going to slide open into this final twist. Now I can do that several times. I can make this into a dynamic sort of a thing and then eventually stay. Thinking the same thing. My left ribs are melting back. My right ribs are kind of moving forward. I'm not thinking how far can I crank into my lower back. And again, notice these knees are up at 90-ish degrees. They're not down low. It's much better for your back to have these knees up. And I might just stay for 5 or 10 or 20 breaths. Pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to show you the other side. And again, maybe you have support, maybe you don't need support. The support is there if your lower back isn't happy without it. Reach past my fingertips, inhale, slide open, and we exhale. And again, you can do that several times, nice and slow, if that feels good in your body to do that. Eventually you'll stay and just breathe right here. And think of it, the rib cage rotating, not the lumbar. Sometimes the support between the thighs can keep it where it belongs. You can even use your own hand. Sometimes I just support with this bottom hand. Now, if this right shoulder, I didn't mention it on the other side, but if this shoulder reaching out is really uncomfortable, if you've got shoulder issues, it might be, you just bring your right hand or whatever hand is reaching out on top of your rib cage and just relax that arm and shoulder. All right, so there's your full body stretch for after your workout or anytime really, but just not before your workout, okay? So isometric stretching you do after your workout or any other time. Dynamic warm up is what you do before your workout. Rolling is what you do before your workout. If you have any questions, you don't understand, just give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, message me. Have a great day.